The also lovely and privileged Miss Carrie Underwood is finding it hard to maintain her 400-acre farm in Tennessee. She said it's so hard finding and keeping hired hands.
Oh Lord, another FAFO celebrity edition, and this one is for Carrie Underwood. Evidently, she's battling exhaustion from having to deal with the endless repairs of looking after a farm and feeding the animals and tending to the crops. Apparently, farm life does not agree with her.
Now she's having trouble finding farm hands, and Miss Girl got to get up at the crack of dawn, shovel hay, feed animals, harvest food, water the plant. You know, all the stuff people said Americans would happily do if immigrants stopped stealing their jobs.
Here's an interesting story that's been floating around. Country star Carrie Underwood is reportedly having a tough time managing her 400-acre farm. We're talking chickens, horses, sheep, greenhouses, the whole thing. But lately, she's been struggling to find farmhands, which means a lot of the work is falling on her, her husband, and even her kids. And if you've ever lived on a farm, you know that's no small task. It's early mornings, long days, and endless chores. So, yes, even a celebrity can get exhausted by that lifestyle. But here's where the irony comes in. Carrie Underwood has previously voiced support for Trump and his Protect American Jobs message. And now, she's facing the exact situation many farmers across the U.S. are dealing with, a shortage of workers, especially immigrant labor.
The also lovely and privileged Miss Carrie Underwood is finding it hard to maintain her 400-acre farm in Tennessee. She said it's so hard finding and keeping hired hands. You mean the hands that you voted for to get deported? And that's why I understand that y'all's vote was so rooted in racism that you could not even see that you were voting against your own interests. I just want to know, Carrie, while you were in that voting booth, voting against your own interests, who did you think was going to maintain your 400-acre farm? I know like hell you didn't think it was going to be your cousin Billy and Bob. And like hell you thought it was going to be Tyreek and Jashawn. Because we all know y'all have a tendency to pay these immigrants less than what they're worth. And for you to think that you were going to vote to deport them and then in turn hire what? White and black people? At the same rate, you got to be out your mind. I guess you're going to have to go on a job search and search for all the people that said all the immigrants was taking all the American jobs. Find them, or matter of fact, is your farm, you work it.
Oh Lord, another FAFO celebrity edition, and this one is for Carrie Underwood. Evidently, she's battling exhaustion from having to deal with the endless repairs of looking after a farm and feeding the animals and tending to the crops. Apparently farm life does not agree with her. And for whatever reason, they don't have any farm workers. So her husband, and her 2 kids are having to pick up the slack of looking after a farm. And apparently it's hard work. Yes, my dear. It is very hard work to be on a farm. So, yep, get to it. Get up at the crack of dawn, get out there and get on those chores. What's the matter? Are the royalties from Until He Cheats drying up that you can't afford to pay farm workers? Or did you have undocumenteds working for you and now they're not there anymore?
Oh no, where have all the workers gone? And after you sang America the Beautiful at Trump's inauguration, this just doesn't seem right. I feel so bad for you.
You ever notice some people pray for rain, but then complain when they got to carry the bucket? So the rumor is that Carrie Underwood is out here struggling to maintain her 400-acre property. You know, chicken, horse, sheep, greenhouses, all the things, right? It's like a whole little house on the prairie starter kit. So now she's having trouble finding farm hands, and Miss Girl got to get up at the crack of dawn, shovel hay, feed animals, harvest food, water the plant. You know, all the stuff people said Americans would happily do if immigrants stopped stealing their jobs. Now, for me, the irony in all of this is Carrie Underwood is a Trump fan. She's been on the build the wall, protect American jobs train. So I go, if that logic holds, shouldn't she be thrilled right about now? I mean, congratulations, Carrie girl, you got the job back. Now go pull yourself up by your Chinese-made bootstraps and get to work, girl. This is the crazy thing, though. Immigrants have been the backbone of multiple industries in America for a long time. Agriculture, construction, hospitality, industries that keep this country running. Decades of break-backing work, feeding this country, building its home, keeping it alive. And you know what America's reward was? Treat immigrants like they're disposable. Push them out. And then when the system collapses, suddenly everyone's got the shocked Pikachu face. So my question to Americans is, how much are you willing to lose to hold on to the fantasy that you don't need immigrant labor? Because without the people that you said didn't matter, you might just find out your American dream is actually one long nightmare. And you're the one that has to wake up and collect the eggs, boo.
So my Caribbean cousin, the young lady in back of me, her name is Carrie Underwood. Carrie Underwood is now complaining that she's tired of working her 400-acre farm in Tennessee. So, Miss Underwood, who did you think is going to work your farm when you decided to go in that booth and vote for whom? As my mother would tell me all the time when I was young, get yourself off your backside and put on some clothes and go and walk. That's what my mother would tell me. So, Miss Underwood, I saying it dignifiedly. Look yourself in the mirror. Strap on your boots. Put on your clothes. And get out there at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and milk that cow and sow that hay and feed your chicken and feed your sheeps and walk your farm yourself, because you decided last November to vote for your particular person and then decided to sing at his inauguration. So when you complain to your own self. We immigrants don't want to hear it. As I said before, my mother would tell me, get up off your backside and walk.
For decades, immigrant workers have been the backbone of industries like agriculture, construction, and hospitality. They've done the backbreaking jobs that keep the country running. But instead of being valued, they've often been treated as disposable. And when they're pushed out, suddenly the system doesn't work the way people imagined. So the bigger question here isn't really about Carrie Underwood. It's about America. How much is the country willing to lose to hold on to the idea that it doesn't need immigrant labor? Because without those workers, the American dream might start looking more like an American nightmare, where even celebrities are left collecting eggs at sunrise